How is everyone doing today? And in this video, we are going to talk about the popularity contest. There's a reason we're going over this banner specifically, or kind of already spoiled it. But there's a reason I'm going over these results specifically. It's because they will turn into its own banner. Quite some time ago, we did get a poll asking us for our favorite characters and our favorite memorias, and now we finally have the results, and these results are going to impact a banner we're going to get very soon with some of the memorias that we voted for. So this is actually very exciting to see that we finally are going to get this banner, and today we're going to go over each character that's going to be a part of this banner. Not only that, we're also going to be looking at is this banner worth it? Are the characters on it even going to be worth it at this point, especially at how far we are into the game, and this only containing the characters that of course are going to be have already released. So let's go ahead and start going into it with the popularity contest itself. Through categories, especially Ruka, I don't think this was a far of a stretch of who was going to win number one. Ruka being our main character makes 1000% sense. Next being Yuina. I actually got a little surprised by this specifically, just because Yuina doesn't get a lot of screen time in the main story, and then she does have her own side event too at that. So this is actually very interesting to me, in my honest opinion, that Yuina is this high. I can see why though. Next is Aoi. I thought she would be number two, but I can understand why Aoi's up here. By far one of my favorite characters in the game, 100%. Megumi being number 4 makes 1000% sense. Yuki being at number 5. My girl deserves better, but Yuki being at number 5 is pretty nice. Tama being 6. So it's usually what it seems like to be the 31A members. 1000% makes 100% sense. Most amount of screen time, a lot of times for us to bond with these characters, so it makes sense that all of these 31A members are all populating the top 10 of this list, including Yuina and Aoi. After that, we ended up getting Sharo, which this is actually very interesting. I did not think she would be here in this top 10. There's many characters that have come out, or characters that are in the story, that I thought would take her place. This is very interesting for the fact that Sharo is in here. Karen actually being lower than Sharo even took me by a bigger surprise. Because this is the 31A member. She lost by Sharo. Actually insane to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because I love Karen. She's by far one of my favorites in the group, especially with her. I'm assuming Carrie also counts with her inclusion as well, but you know, that's awfully weird. And then Mari is going to be at number 10. Also another character I did not expect to break top 10. She is a good character, but I didn't expect this. This is really cool. But that's the top 10 characters that we have in the favorite character list, which of course 31A and a couple of other girls. Now to get to the juicy part, and I already spoiled it. Getting into the top 10 memorias, which is gonna be from the top 10 characters, and these are their most voted for versions of that character. So at number 1, we are looking at Thunder. Oh, my bad, wrong tab. We are looking at Thunder Ruka. Thunder Ruka is actually a pretty good character. Although her EX skill is pretty expensive, she hits pretty dang hard. And the reason why I say this is because not only is she having a really nice base attack, but also being able to score that 50% HP modifier. And not only that, you also get a free 1-turn single target defense down for your attack. So Ruka's able to debuff herself, being able to allow you to not only stack on debuffs a little easier, but also being able to boost her damage even more so for the fact that she has defense down. This Ruka, realistically, when it comes to her EX skill, it's a really good character, or a really good Memoria. Is it needed? Not 100%. We have many characters in the game like Maid Aoi, we have Inori as well, we got the Angel Beats characters. But if you are building towards Thunder, or you really like Ruka, this Thunder attacker might be something you can look forward to. Not really the craziest of units, but also not a bad unit as well. She's gonna be doing pretty well for quite some time, and not only that, she also gives the party Thunder attack up, so it's gonna help out other Memorias. So Ruka isn't the craziest option out of this banner, but still a pretty good one, especially with the defense down that you're getting from her EX skill specifically. Next character, which I spoiled, is going to be Swimsuit Yuina. Swimsuit Yuina is actually going to be one of these stronger dark characters due to the fact that she is able to give herself dark attack up, and then not only that, she also gives herself dark crit damage up as well. Which is really good for Yuina herself. This allows her to amp her own damage very easily, and then being able to of course work with other characters with giving more variety of buffs, so that she doesn't only have crit rate crit damage, she has dark crit rate, or dark crit damage and dark skill attack. Now the problem with dark at the current moment is because we got the 3rd anniversary version of the UI update and all the changes to the game. There is a problem with, I think, the dark overrider for the dark team, that they needed to normal attack or something like that to be able to waste their hit count or something in that regard. Somebody could give the more thorough explanation, because I have to go through that again when it's time towards talking about that character. But if I'm not wrong, dark is heavily nerfed because of that change. That hit count doesn't get consumed on auto attack. Because that's the case, Yuina did fall down quite a bit when it comes to her future proofing, because dark is in a really bad spot right now, just because of that change specifically towards their overrider. If I'm not wrong, that hurts Yuina's performance, that hurts Yuina's placing, especially when you compare all the other elements like thunder, light, fire, all these really prominent characters that are inside the future of Heaven Burns Red, or on the JP side. Yuina is definitely one that has fallen down recently because of that change that we've gotten on the global side. So this Yuina specifically, although a really good unit and can definitely carry you through early game, end game, mid game right now, still a really nice character. If you grab her, really good. But realistically, looking at this Yuina right now in terms of meta, looking at her in the terms of the future, she's not the highest value of pick. She used to be, now isn't, because of that change we just got on the global side, which does suck. The next one is going to be number 3, and this one is going to be our best thunder attacker without a doubt, and that is because of her totem mechanic, that is because of her synergy with SS1 Aoi, which is going to be Maid Aoi. Of course, this Maid Aoi is going to be a vitality based damager, and with that being said, she is by far one of the strongest thunder attackers in the game at the current moment, because she is going to be stacking up based off of her totems, which is really easy, especially if you have things like angel wings from her SS1. Being able to use allow me to take your order gives you really good defense razor, and also is allow you to provoke plus give yourself a token. So it's all really good and all really synergistic, especially if you're spamming angel wings and then using this EX move as well. So this Thunder Aoi is honestly really strong with being able to work as a defender plus also an attacker. So you kind of hit 2 birds with 1 stone having this specific Aoi. Again, none of these characters are the craziest in the world. These are so, like, if you pull these characters on this banner specifically, they're just nice to have. They're really good characters if you don't have anything for thunder, if you don't have anything for dark. These are just really good characters to end up picking up by chance, but not something you want to gun for the most part. The next Memoria besides Aoi will be Fire Megumi. Now Fire Megumi is a MVP character that we need to talk about, because Fire Megumi is going to give us a premium zone with the 65% fire damage dealt buff, plus having not only good base attack, which is really strong, and then also giving you 2-turn single target fire defense down, which is really good. This is going to be your premier fire buffer from now until all the way in the future, and her being able to not only boost fire attack for the entire party, which is really nice, you're also able to give that single target fire defense down plus that fire zone. So she's giving a lot of check boxes when it comes to not only buffing, debuffing, and also providing more buffs for your team that you're going to be using, which is such a beautiful thing to have for this Megumi. This Megumi is a premium fielder and is definitely one of the higher in priority characters in this specific banner. So this by far, she's number 1 right now as far as the Memoria we've been looking at. The next Memoria that we're going to look at is our girl Yuki, or let me say my girl Yuki. Yuki as a unit is not necessarily the most important. You would necessarily want Ruka more than that Yuki, just for the fact that Yuki is just a more AoE centric damage dealer. You are really going to see her shine in things like dungeons because of her enormous EX skill that's able to do so much damage. And that way you're able to, of course, break the enemy, destroy the enemy, especially with her being able to, I thought this was health, I'm not gonna lie, but being able to use Yuki is really good for AoE stages and dungeons. Other than that, there's really no other use for her unless you're fighting dual bosses like in some of the gem flashbacks. Otherwise you would be using something like Ruka more just because Ruka has a lot more damage with her defense down, plus her single target damage that she does have. So although this Yuki is very strong for farming, for dungeons, this is not something you want to aim for as well, although it's my favorite character. Next is going to be Thunder Tama. Now this Tama I wasn't expecting to pop up. Realistically, it was looking like it was the most recent Memoria of every kind, and I'm kind of glad they didn't do Light Tama, because Light Tama's a little iffy when it comes to using her. But Thunder Tama, now this Tama is actually pretty good, just because this Tama actually does damage, plus is giving a thunder attack up to the team, plus is able to give how do you say it, DP to the team, so she can heal. So not only are you using a healer with this Thunder Tama, you're also using a character who's able to buff up the whole entire party with the thunder attack up, which is something that the Thunder team needs. Thunder has a lot of debuffs. Thunder has a fielder, of course, with Psycha, but you need this party thunder attack up from her to be able to get the most buffs, or the most variety of buffs and debuffs that you can get in the game for the Thunder team. So this is actually a pretty cool character, especially if you end up pulling something like Su Yuki or Su Ruka, or even Thunder Aoi. If you think about it, this banner at the current moment is just infested with light units, or thunder units for the most part. So this is a really good character to have, a very good off-centered character, like a character you would nicely have if you were to off pull them, not necessarily aim for it. So this Tama is really nice for the thunder unit speaking, and is also able to help out thunder teams if you are building that, which is going to be the more prominent team people are going to build if they don't have Inori, just because of course we are going to be seeing the Overrider very soon. Besides Tama herself, we got Su Tojo. Now Su Tojo, again, just like Megumi, is going to be a pretty big deal for a lot of accounts, only because she has the frontline attack up, which is a little annoying to put onto your allies or to your main damage dealer, because you don't want them to waste their buffs. But she does provide the more premium version of the light zone, and she also gives crit rate and crit damage. So you only need to buff yourself up once if you're using another crit rate crit damage unit, and then Tsukasa has the rest. She's able to give you that other crit rate crit damage, and then you also have the premium light zone giving you the higher damage boost. And of course, this is going to do not too much damage when it comes to throwing out the field, but she does do quite a bit, especially if you start buffing. The way Tsukasa works, you giving her all of these buffs with crit rate crit damage for frontline, because she's a part of it. She's giving herself light zone. The team you're usually running is going to be something like Mua, giving the backline, buffs. She's gonna hit a little bit when it comes to allowing her to take all those buffs in that you were giving to the backline, so you can help out something like Ruka or help something like Kanade. Tsukasa is going to be taking some of those buffs and actually being able to do a little bit of damage to help you whittle down the DP bar and also the health bar as well. So not only do you have one premium fielder with Tojo, you also have Fire Megumi, which is really good for this banner specifically. Going into the next one is Sharo. Sharo, again, not a character I expected, but with Sharo being on the banner, she is pretty nice toward dark characters, similar to what we have with Yuina. With Sharo, you are going to get AoE dark defense down and AoE defense down, which is pretty good for dungeon stages, pretty good for dual bosses. Allows you to take use of being able to have that AoE with something like Yuina, because Yuina is an AoE damage dealer. So this is all really good stuff, having Sharo, and not only that, being able to do this as 0 SP, so you can double stack this fairly easy. But having Sharo being able to double stack AoE defense down and dark defense down only helps out something like Yuina even more so. So this is a pretty cool move to have. And then other than that, that's pretty much it for Sharo specifically. Other than Sharo, we are looking at Su Karin. Su Karin is a pretty good character too, just because she is able to give herself hit count buff, which is going to help her with her devastation and allow her to hit a little bit harder. And being able to boost up light attack as well for the whole entire team is something that you're going to be able to benefit from, especially when you have characters like Kanade or maybe even characters like Ruka. And then you have all these other light characters who are also giving these skill attack boosts, which is really nice. Karin as well, being a character that you just like to get on the off chance that you get this character as an SS. And then our final character, which is going to be part of the popularity contest, is going to be Mari. This Mari is actually pretty important, because this Mari is able to grab the SS1 version of her EX skill, which is going to be her ice field. She's able to not only be an ice fielder, but also gives frontline attack up, frontline crit rate up, crit damage up, and mind's eye to the front line. But of course, that's on first use. Second time you use it, you will be getting attack up and a crit rate up. But overall, this is a lot of buffs to be able to give a character on the first time you use this, which is really good. And then not only that, you're also able to give a field. So you're able to knock 2 birds with 1 stone. Having 2 buffers in one character allows you to free up the space for another debuffer, potentially a blaster, so that you can raise the percentage of destruction. And that's pretty much it. These are all the characters as a part of the popularity contest. I do say that this banner in specific, are pretty okay. I don't think it's the craziest banner. The reason I say this is because we had the potential chance of being able to grab characters like Saika. We could have had Saika 2 on the banner. My bad, I spelled it wrong. We could have had Saika 2 on the banner, which would have been so much more in value. Imagine having premium fielder Tojo, premium fielder Megumi, Saika, right? Because now you're getting crit rate, crit damage, and a DP recovery to the character that you are buffing, and also attack up. So you're getting all 3 buffs in one EX skill. Not only could you have had Saika, you could have gotten Yingxia as well. This could have been the only chance that people would have been able to have a banner where it was just straight up buffers and you just like giga boosted your account. You would have had EX skill for your hit count buff for Yingxia. You would have had Saika. You would have had the premium fielders like Megumi and also Tsukasa. So 4 out of these 6 characters would have been some very valuable buffers. But of course, this popularity contest and through and through, it was just people's favorite characters, which you can't fault people for realistically. But if we did have a banner that was player selected and you wanted the most bang for your buck, yeah, we would have thankfully would have had Yingxia and Saika, because that would have allowed us to have such an amazing banner for not only free-to-play players to spend on or to get their quartz used on, because that would have allowed them to have the highest chance with some of the best characters in the game. But sadly, we don't have Saika and we don't have Yingxia, and because we don't have those 2 characters on this banner specifically, this banner realistically looks like a skip on my part. Only because it's just hard to recommend. You know, Ruka Thunder, she's good, but not the best in the world. Yuina loses value because of the changes we got with the 3rd anniversary client. Thunder are always pretty good, but the problem is we're gonna get better units. She's still usable, don't get me wrong. Even with her being a defender, having SS1 always, she's still gonna do pretty good. And even more so, will gain value with Sharo coming out very soon. But there's gonna be many characters that many people are going to have that are gonna allow you to replace the Thunder team. You know, we have Kanade now, we have a free-to-play Yuri now, we have Inori as well. So there's a lot of teams right now that are taking up a slot from your main 2 teams. Megumi is really great. I have nothing wrong to say about her. Yuki, AoE wise, really great, really good dungeon wise, but not necessarily something you would bring to score challenge, just because she wouldn't be doing the damage, or she wouldn't have the ease of access of damage the way Ruka does. And then Tama, good character, not necessarily the most broken in the world, but it does allow you to do a good amount of damage, plus a thunder attack up that she can use herself. So she's a pretty good unit. Tsukasa, I can't say anything bad about her because she's an amazing unit. Sharo, a little bit of a more niche unit towards the Dark team, and like I said, with Dark losing its viability, Dark losing some value with the upcoming change, it does kind of suck to see that Sharo and Yuina did lose some value because of that. And then Karin, an okay devastation unit, a pretty good one, but not something you would try to strive for or aim for unless you're a diehard Karin fan. And then Mari is a really good unit in terms of being a buffer. So realistically, the only MVPs that are on this banner are Mari, Tojo, and Megumi, while the rest are going to be either, you know, some characters you would like to have, some characters that are going to be a little bit less future-proof because of certain changes. And this banner sadly just isn't going to be the craziest thing in the world to summon on. If we had Yingxia and Saika, maybe I would have changed my opinion differently, because we would have had one of the best buffers, one of the best hit count buffers, the only one we have on global. That would have been a crazy banner to pull on, but sadly we don't have those characters. So other than that, that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully I let y'all know how each of these characters fare. If you're gonna be pulling these banners, let me know. Tell me in the comments below who you're aiming for, and if you're not, tell me who you're saving for, because we have a lot of really crazy banners coming up with Suitama, Sharo, we have, what is it, Yuki as well, which, ooh, I can't wait for that. That's gonna be super exciting. Make sure you leave a like, comment, sub, all the different type of stuff. Let me know who you're gonna pull for. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one, and peace.